everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So, in today's episode we're going to be revealing our new car. However, nothing is quite straightforward. So this is our first project car for this year, real project car or new project car. So I'm really looking forward to this one. However, our new car has got a bit of history that we need to reveal. So the car came from Copart, but came with a bit of a hidden history. We're going to come on to that in a second, but let me show you how I came about to buy this car. So there I was on my local Copart minding my own business, and then all of a sudden this TTS came up. Ooh. So as you can see, this car was looking pretty good. So we scroll through the pictures to have a look to see if there's any damage. Yeah, we can see a little bit of damage here on the bumper. Doesn't look too bad though. Anything else? Oh, it's got a TTRS wing. Oh my goodness, this car is looking absolutely brilliant. Alright, so going around the vehicle, I don't see any damage on the body at all. We're looking alright. Interior, no airbags have gone off, so she's not had a front. Back seats look good. Air filter is missing, but that's fine. And it's a later model, we can tell by this grille here, so that is good too. And also the white dials, and she's definitely a TTS as we can see. Done 111,514 miles. Okay, that's pretty good. So it's just this front wing here that's been damaged by the looks of it. So it's all looking good. Yeah, we've got a bit of road rash there, but we're not worried about that. So that is it. Alright, so let's take a look at some of these descriptions. So she's a run and drive. She's also a Cat U use unrecorded and V5 on file. So there's no history by the looks of it. Any additional information? Number of keys 2. That is it. This car looks like a bargain. Do you know what? I think I'm gonna bid on it. So I'm furiously bidding on this car, and there's about 2 or 3 of us bidding, and then all of a sudden it's down to me and this other guy, and then he runs out of steam, and then I win the car.
Yes! Yes!
However, this car is a problem car. Why? Because it is a doctored car. A car that's been put into Copart to hide a problem. We'll come on to the problem in a second. But there were some clear signs in this listing that we didn't disclose. And I'm going to disclose to you now. And hopefully this will help you to ensure that you don't make this mistake. Alright, so let's take a look at the screen now, and we will see some of the classic Telltale signs as to why this is a doctored car and why normally I would have walked away from this. Okay, so let's look at the pictures first of all. So there's nothing wrong with this car. This clearly is pulled deliberately. Now, I surmise that this could be someone who has taken the car to the garage, and looking at the paperwork, this car has spent quite a bit of time at the garage. It's had a lot of services done, so whoever owned it really cared for the car from the point of view that they had it serviced every single year, and they had it done by a specialist as well, which is good. So they could have had a problem, and they were told, you know what, the car is not worth anything, hand it back or get rid of it. And so they took it to a dealer, maybe part exchanged it, and then the dealer put it into Copart and just didn't say anything. That could be the case. And the reason why I know that, because this here being pulled out, normally you only do that if you're trying to hide something to make the car look like it's damaged, because let's face it, Copart, most of the cars there are damaged. Now, it's also used unrecorded as well. And if you look at the mileage, and if you look at the condition of the car, okay, so let's take a look at the pictures. Because there's no damage on the car, immediately you think to yourself, why would you not just sell this car? I mean, I bought this car for £6,200. That's what I paid for it in the end. And after the fees, etc., I can't remember what it came to, but I'm sure I'll disclose that at some point through this project. You would get more money selling this privately, because for an automatic, the cheapest one that I've seen at the time when I recorded this video was for £8,500. So why would you lose out on a good almost £2,000, the difference in price, by putting the car in Copart, unless there was a problem. So that was the biggest hint there. And the V5 is also on file, so it's not from an insurance company, so it's clearly either from an end user or a previous owner or a garage. In fact, I'm looking at the V5 now because Copart sent it to me. It's got the green slip bit and the tray bits are gone. So if Copart took the tray bit, that could be the case, but I've got the V5 here. So whoever put this car into Copart, they knew that it was a damage, that there was a problem with the engine. And if you look at the additional information, the only information that they've put in here was that the car has 2 keys. They put it in as a run and drive, which is blatantly not the case. Now, could I go back to Copart now that I've discovered that this car has a problem? Well, no, because what I should have done, rather than bid on the car like I did, was I should have called Copart and done one of their video reviews. Would I have picked up on all the issues on this car? Probably not. In fact, we're going to have a look at the car in a second. You'll see for yourself the issues on the car, and whether or not I would have picked those up using the video. Let's take a, in fact, you know what, let's go straight to the car now. So here is the new car in the flesh. Now visually the car looks absolutely fine. Its bodywork's in really good condition. There's no dents, etc., as you would appear. If you're wondering why I haven't pulled the car out, it's because it's well, you'll see in a second. Front of the vehicle, absolutely fine. This is a damage. This isn't damage at all. This has been deliberately pulled out because there's nothing wrong with the teeth here at all. It's been pulled out to give that appearance that there's something wrong with the car from a body point of view, but really there isn't anything wrong with the body. It's absolutely fine. Tires on the car, it's got Michelin Pilot Sport 2s, which is yeah, decent tires, very expensive tires. And then as you go around the car, it's got this shoddy whale fin, and I think that's probably one of the things that attracted me, because from the pictures you can't tell whether or not it's real, but it's not a genuine TTRS whale fin. It doesn't fit very well, and it's quite rough looking, so we may have to, in fact we will have to sort that out. From an exhaust point of view, it's got Remus exhaust, twin pipes on both sides, with chrome tip, carbon fiber tips on here. Really nice exhaust. So visually the car is in pretty good nick. Let's take a look in the boot. That's the boot cover, the top of the front, because I've taken that off, and we'll see in a minute why. Battery in the back, all the tools in here. So again, really nicely looked after from that point of view. The interior of the car, again, really good condition. Leather seats, a little bit worn, a little bit tired, and we might just sort that out like we did with the Mark 1 TT, just to give it that, you know, that brand new look and feel. But other than that, the interior of the car is absolutely fine. I've taken this trim off because the bonnet catch is broken, so that needs to be replaced. So it's really just minor things that's wrong with the car. That is until you start it. So let me show you the reason why this car is being doctored and why it was in Copart. Okay. So you can hear she's quite rough. So she's running on 3 cylinders, so one of the coil packs possibly could go, but you'll start to see the black smoke, the blue smoke start to appear. Let's give it some revs and you'll see. There you go. That's the reason why this car has been put on Copart. She's bellowing out a whole lot of blue smoke. you can't really see it here, but it's just full of smoke, and she's running really rough as well. Now the previous owner obviously liked his car and tuned it well, because he's taken the air filter out. You can see the remainder of the box there. And I think when I did take off the oil cap, if I remember right, there was, oh, this thing's tough. See that? White cream. Now sometimes you get a little condensation when you first start up a car. You do get that milky substance, but I think when I was running the car for a while, there was a continuous milky substance that was in the car. So what could be wrong with this car? Well, there could be possibly a few things, and the one thing that you didn't hear was that this car also has piston slap. So when you put it under load, you can hear this knocking sound. Then it could be piston slap, but it could also be that this car has had some modifications done to it other than just the air filter. It could have had forged pistons, because there's a lot of receipts with this car, and this car has had a lot of care or a lot of money spent on its everyday, more than what you would normally see. It's got a new starter motor, I just realized that as well. So now it could be, now with the piston slap, it could be because if it's been modified, if it's had a new forged pistons when they're cold they shrink, and so they can often sound like piston slap, but as they warm up they swell up, and then literally that's what they do. So it could be that if they've had forged pistons fitted, but we don't know. It seems like there's been some work done here as well, so it could be that. So it could be broken piston ring, it could be the cartridge in the turbo has gone. That's a common fault, and what we're seeing with the oil there, that could be the reason why. Or it could be a blown head gasket. So there's a number of avenues for us to check. And what we'll do is there's a little filter, you'll see it when we come to diagnose the problem on this car, where we put it in the water tank, the header tank, and if it changes color, if it changes green, then you know you've got a blown head gasket, because exhaust gases are escaping into the water system. So we'll do that test. I also have a camera that we'll put down there to check to see if we've got any piston slap. And piston slap, normally you can tell if you've got a piston slap because you'll have bore scoring, so that's another possibility as well. So in other words, what I'm saying is there is a lot of stuff that we need to check on this car, so the content will be very rich, as you can imagine. But that's the reason why this car has ended up in Copart, because whoever had it, and I think it could have been a dealer who owns the car, and they decided that it could have been traded in against a new car, and they decided rather than put it or repair it, they will put it into Copart, and that's the reason why. And when you drive it, it drives really rough. The engine light's on, and you can definitely tell that one of the coil packs are gone. But this car has had the coil packs replaced, and it was replaced last year. So could they have gone so soon? Probably not. Or then again, it depends if they're fitted genuine ones. And if you look at these coil packs, difficult to tell whether or not they are genuine or not, or whether they're just like cheap ones. There's no markings on them, and normally they do have a marking if they are genuine, but I could be wrong. So that could be another reason why. In fact, that one's quite high. It's higher than the other one, so that one may not be sitting right. Anyway, there are lots to do in this car. We'll get it done, and then we'll be able to you'll be able to see it all. But before that happens, I need to get my lift, which is coming very soon. Anyway, that's the car. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. She is visually very nice, but obviously her heart is broken, and we're planning and aiming to fix that. Okay, so you've seen the car, you've seen what potentially is wrong with it. So it's either got a blown turbo, it's got a blown head gasket, potential piston slap, definitely needs coil packs changing. Could be other things that could be wrong with it. I mean, with a piston snap, it could also have scored the bore, so we'll need to get that honed if that's the place. Potentially you're looking at a new engine. I don't think it's that catastrophic. But why did I buy a car that I knew was obviously doctored by just looking at what we discovered earlier? Well, number one, it's great content there. You guys love this kind of a thing, don't you? And that's the main reason why I bought this car. But I actually bought this car knowing the risks. I didn't even make a calculated guess or calculated risk. In my head, I'd rationalize that this car, worst case scenario, I'll need a new engine on it. If I bought a new engine block, etc., I would potentially come out and I would break even on the car. And that to me is fine because, as you know, this is my hobby, so I enjoy it. You guys enjoy the content. We haven't had a project for a while, so it made good sense to look at this as a potential project. And the beauty of it as well is it doesn't have a categorization on it, so I'll be able to sell the car for top dollar. And we'll certainly make the car look good by the time it's finished. Everything will be sorted on it. We'll refurb the wheels, the whole shebang, etc., etc. But the second reason why I bought this car was to really help you to understand the risks in buying category U cars from Copart and the kind of unscrupulous things that people do because of the nature of Copart as a business. So if anyone else potentially had bought that car and had not done their due diligence, you could potentially be looking at a bill of over 3K to get a new engine fitted if you didn't have any mechanical or vehicle technician experiences, and that would be a very expensive mistake. So you just got to be careful. If you're looking at Cat U's, you need to really do your homework, know those vehicles, anticipate everything that could potentially go wrong with the vehicle before you start bidding, and knowing the worst case scenario, set your price so that if the worst case scenario does come to fruition, you know that you can cover yourself by whatever work needs to be done to repair that worst case scenario, so you come out and haven't lost your trousers, so to speak. So that's the new car. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I've always wanted a TTS, and this one, you know, it looks pretty good. I mean, obviously there's a few things that we've, you know, needs to be sorted on it, like that whale fin at the back, for instance. See if we can make good on that. I don't know, we might just put it back to standard or stock, but it fulfills another bucket list. I've only got one more TT to get now to have own all of the TTs in the range, and that's the legendary 5-pot TTS. Now ironically, when this car came up, a week later a TTRS came up. In fact, two came up. I could not believe it. After a 2-year drought from having no TTRS is coming up in Copart, two come up together. And then another one came up a couple weeks later, would you believe? So I would have bought one of those. But anyway, it is what it is. We've got this car now, and it's going to give us some good content. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Press the subscribe button if you are a casual viewer of this, because the content is going to be really great. And we're not going to go on to the car next week because I really need my my lift, and I bought my lift at last, and there's a whole lot of hoo-ha to go to that, but we'll come on to that in another video. But we now got a lift, just waiting for the tiles to come. Once we get all of that in, then we'll get the car in the garage. But I thought I'll bring this video to you today is to whet your appetite, so to speak, and it will be back on the channel in the next few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so hopefully if you enjoyed this, give us a like, and we will see you on the next one.